You may say physically climbing Denali, climbing Everest doesn't relate professionally, but I would disagree with you. Sometimes you're climbing for 30 hours without sleep, or, you're hungry, you haven't eaten in a while, you're thirsty. I look at it same way professionally, just kind of push through. And then you have the discipline on how to deal with different challenges that may come before you.
Welcome back to the CBIA BizCast powered by Google. I'm Amanda Morello, and I'm very excited today to be joined by Rohan Freeman, the president and CEO of Freeman Companies. Rohan, welcome to the BizCast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here.
You're not only an accomplished engineer, but you are also a mountaineer.
I sure am. I love climbing. It's my passion outside of work. Kind of takes the stress away, keeps my mind off the professional side of things.
And fun fact for our audience, you hold a unique distinction of being the first African-American to climb the 7 summits, the highest mountain of each of the 7 continents.
Yeah, something that I'm very proud of. But to add to that, they have something called the Grand Slam, the Explorers Grand Slam, which includes also trekking to the North and South Pole, which I have done. So it's a huge accomplishment for me, something I'm super proud and happy about.
Well, it's an honor, really, to be sitting next to you and for us to have you here in Connecticut. I do want to get into, your story about your travels and what sparked that. But first, tell me a little bit about Freeman Companies and your journey starting Freeman Companies and being here in Connecticut.
Yeah, so, I like to tell people my journey professionally has been a pretty long journey. Because where I am now, sometimes I pinch myself. I feel pretty fortunate to get here and for some of the things I've accomplished. So I have 3 companies. One is the first one I started was Freeman Companies, which is an engineering firm. My background is I'm a graduate of UConn. I have a degree in civil engineering, which incidentally, I got a degree in civil engineering. I almost got a degree in mechanical engineering. My mom got me a summer internship at the city of Hartford when I was a senior at UConn with 1 semester to go.
Wow.
Studying mechanical engineering. So I went to the city to do a summer internship and got exposed to civil engineering and land surveying. And I went back to school. That's how convinced I was. Went back to school, changed my major, and I had 2 years back on. So I didn't graduate on time. But that was the experience that I had that helped to shape a lot of the decisions I make in my company and a lot of things that I do now. So Freeman is a full service civil engineering firm. We do a lot of work here in the city of Hartford. We work on a lot of the school projects, a lot of the large projects that happen here at Dunkin' Donuts Park and other major development projects. Then we have a construction management company. Because Freeman was so successful being based in Hartford, a lot of the construction management firm that wanted to do work in the city came to us and wanted to partner with us so it would give them a leg up to do the work. We couldn't do it from the Freeman side because our insurance didn't allow it. So we started Freeman 7 Summits Construction. But we also started that for another reason, so that we could help give back to some of the local organizations in Hartford who were looking for this experience, but didn't feel like they have a trusted partner in the construction management community. So we do a lot of that work. Most of the work we do are centered around nonprofits, schools, community-based work. And then the third and final company is 7 Summits Realty, real estate development company. Even though we're a for-profit company, we're more like a nonprofit company because we're so deeply mission-driven. We develop housing because we want to provide access, housing access to those less fortunate. So we don't do any commercial retail, stuff like that. We're just very mission-driven and focused on doing that. And so those are the 3 companies I have.
And walk me back a little bit,
Right.
So you first came to Connecticut when you were how old?
I was 19. So I did finish high school in Jamaica. And then I did 2 years of what's called sixth form, which is kind of a pre-college there. And then I came here, and then I went to Hartford State Tech for one semester, and then got into the University of Connecticut. And
What brought your family to the U.S.?
my mom, it's a long story. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. My mom met someone who had come here, was a fellow Jamaican, came here on the farm program. They got married. My mom moved here, naturally wanted her kids. So my brothers and I came here. Yeah, they came before me. My mom wanted me to stay and finish school in Jamaica.
How do you think that upbringing in Jamaica has really shaped what you do now?
I think it has a lot to do with my success. Jamaica, they have this phrase called a hustle. Everybody hustle for everything. Nobody expects anything. The government is not going to give you a handout. And it helps me and it hurt me as well, because, when I was in college, I felt like I had to do everything myself. When I started my business, I felt like I had to do anything myself. I didn't trust that anybody was going to give me anything or do anything for me without having some kind of expectation. So it gave me that drive to be self-sufficient. But now I look back, and I look back even at my college experience, and I'm like, I could have had so much more fun in college if I had just gotten some tutors to help or gone to my professors more, instead of spending hours and hours in the library figuring things out. If you ask any of my college friends right now, they'll tell you. You ask them, what did Rowan do in college? Oh, you could find them in the library at UConn 3 South.
All the time. That was it.
Yes. I ran track and I went to the library.
Wow.
Yeah, my friends, even to this day, talk about that 3 South. Yeah.
Wow. And what, with your companies, obviously you said there's a lot of almost nonprofit work. What sparked that?
It came from my desire to give back and feeling connected to Hartford. For me, my mom and my brother both work in the city of Hartford. They both had lifelong careers. They both retired from the city. And my mom got me a job in the public works department that kind of shaped my life. So I came in, I was almost graduated from UConn with a degree in mechanical engineering, got this experience in the city public works department that shaped my life, that helped me to get this civil engineering degree. Because for me, I got there, I'm like, okay, I understand everything you're talking about here. I struggle with mechanical engineering. I was a good student, but I really struggled. I went back to school and I did great, because I understood intuitively what I was being taught. And more importantly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I was doing. So, that's why I feel so connected to the city. And that's why I also want to give back. And I also lived here. My mom lived here and I lived here for quite a while. So it's important to me to give back, especially with the way my career has been shaped by the city.
How do you think that your career has been shaped by the city, but you've also helped, your team has really helped revitalize some of the city with the park. What do you think of that? What role do you think that Freeman Companies has played in that?
To me, doing the engineering side of things is important. But there's a reason I located my firm here. I never thought of going to any place else, because to me it was coming home. And then I didn't really understand in the bigger context of what the city's needs were. I was just an engineer trying to make a living. So I started my firm and then starting to get more into the fabric of Hartford and the community and understanding some of the major issues that were impacting the city, and realized that maybe I could help in some small way, whether it's providing scholarships, be able to have some scholarships we have at UConn, whether it's providing internships, which in turns provide exposure to kids, maybe high school and college that are in the Hartford area. just like I had that exposure. So I really enjoy bringing those kids in or just giving back. And then on the bigger scale, sitting on different boards to be able to impact outcomes within the community, I thought was important. But leveraging my firm in terms of working on different types of projects to me was very important because we understood what we were doing for the city. We took that work seriously, and we understood it. So for us, it wasn't just about bottom line. For us, it was about how can we help to shape the city and some of its policies or zoning policies, and give feedback in that way.
And, 3 companies all interconnected, but different.
Yep.
So you have to build a team under you that is on the same page, that shares some of those priorities, those passions. How were you able to do that?
I've been pretty fortunate that I've been able to recruit folks who really share my vision and my passion, especially as it comes back to helping people less fortunate and giving back to this community. And so it's attracting those people. But I also find that it's not just about attracting those people. Sometimes those people that want to do this kind of work, they find you. So I have some great folks working for me. Diana Colcord, who is my executive vice president on the construction and the engineering side, is a great help. Josh Johnson on the construction side. These are people that I could trust and have decades of experience. So their input certainly go a long way to help.
Someone who is very self-sufficient, how do you build that trust?
Sometimes I have to learn to let go of certain things, but it comes with time. So it's like in a relationship, you delegate and you oversee and you get feedback. And then with time, you evaluate how effective folks are. And the reason they're in these positions is because we've been together for a couple of years, and they've proven that they're very capable. So I do trust them a lot.
What projects, if you think back to the last decade, what are you most proud of?
I'm really, really proud of Dunkin' Donuts Park. And the outcome that the city could bring this to life. Of course, there's been a lot of negative press around it. There's been a lot of lawsuits surrounding it. So that's not, something that's great about the project. But these projects tend to attract these negative parts to it. Mm-hmm. But Dunkin' Donuts Park is one of those projects that we were in at the very inception, in the conceptual phase, that I thought came out great ultimately, despite the way it came to fruition. And
it's been a transformation for sure. Absolutely.
And now it's the catalyst for development around the ballpark and in this area that, I remember, since I came to Hartford, just how dilapidated that part of town was. I don't know if you remember the Butt Hugley building. There's been a lot of press about that. And then I kept reading about that thing. So just being able to be a part of that has been a source of great pride for me.
Yeah, and it does bring a lot of joy to so many people.
Oh, absolutely. And it's great to go and watch a ball game there. We frequently take our entire staff to watch games there.
What's on the horizon?
Professionally or personally?
Professionally. We're going to stick on the Freeman Companies, and then we're going to pivot.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we are looking at some pivotal projects in the city. One of them is the Flatiron building right at the across from the public safety facility there on Main Street. That's a project that we think is going to help to revitalize that area around the ballpark, and that's pretty important. We also look at Brackett Knoll which is although it's a small project, it's a project that I am very proud of. And the reason is it's providing home ownership in the north end of Hartford, in the part of the city that really needs this kind of economic boost. So, I mean, and then we have, like the Westbrook Village that has been pretty successful by the cloud companies, and Penrose, other large projects like that. And then another project that I'm really excited about is we're doing a streetscape in the south end of Hartford, Maple Street. That's going to kind of transform how we use our streets in Hartford. So those are projects that we have on the horizon, among many others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, and we are hiring if anybody out there is looking for work.
Yeah. Are you finding? I know we talked about obviously building your team, but are you finding it difficult to hire?
So we had a really tough time hiring for a few years. This year, we're seeing a little bit of a difference. We're seeing talent coming on the market. I think there's some economic change. I'm on the board at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and the Advisory Council. Mm-hmm. So I get all this economic data that I could take back and use. And so we do see like there's the economy is kind of transitioning, still pretty good, but transitioning. So we've been seeing a lot of talent this year, although probably not as much as we need. So we still need some specific talent because of where we are. But yeah.
And your partnership with UConn helps fill some of that?
Yes. Yes and no, because even though we'll get access to the kids before this, it was very challenging because we were competing with larger corporations, larger companies that could afford to pay more. We've actually been pretty successful this year because we hired 3 UConn graduates that I'm always proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels good for you too.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Good. Well, I want to shift gears a little bit and then kind of connect the two. Mm-hmm. You have these amazing stories about your travels and your mountaineer journeys. How did you get into that?
Yeah, good question. As a kid growing up in Jamaica, I spent my days away from home with my friends, going into the hills, the woods, or go play soccer. And what we would do is we'd go fishing or we'd go shoot the birds, and we would cook the fish. And we would just spend the entire day just traipsing through the hills. So I got my sense of adventure from that. And then coming here with winter, that was a serious culture shock. So I won't get into that because it's a long story, but I remember maybe around 2000, 2001, thereabouts, I got to the point where I'm like, I can't deal with winter. I need to be outside, because I would just stay inside all winter. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, let's go snowboarding, because I didn't want to just give up on winter. At that point, I'd said to her, I'm going to Florida or Southern California because I don't want to deal with winter. And
had you snowboarded before? Never played in the snow before, nothing. I just looked up online and I'm like, what can I do in the winter? And I just remember at the time saying, seeing like people skiing and snowboarding. I'm like, well, maybe I'll try. And I felt like I was giving up by leaving to go to Florida or Southern California. Plus my family are all here. So we went snowboarding. I booked a trip for 5 days, bought all the gear, and went snowboarding. Never knew anything. And for the first 3 days, it was comical. Yeah.
People were just having a field day. Because I'd never been on the snow before, ever been on a snowboard. And
like a baby deer, like walking for the first time.
You have no idea. Comical. I couldn't stand up. The baby slope, I couldn't even get down. And
you were physically in good shape. You ran track in college.
I've always stayed in shape. Yeah. I was in great shape, but being in shape does not make you snowboard ready. And day 4, clicked a little. But I'll tell you something though. The staff there on the mountain and some of the people that were there for multi-day trips, would started coming up to me at the end of the third day and then the fourth day and said, "Oh my God, you're tenacious, man. You don't give up." Because people were, I mean, by now people were like seeing me, and the instructor was talking about me. He's like, "This guy just never give up. He must have fallen 1,000 times."
Yeah.
And then day 4, it kind of clicked. And day 5, I was going to the top of the mountain. Well, not exactly all the way to the top, but I was going to the middle of the mountain and making it down and having so much fun. I'm like, okay, so this is how you enjoy winter. From there, I'm like, okay, I got to do something else. And then my other friends got me into ice climbing and then cross-country skiing.
So previously, you hadn't done much climbing.
I hadn't done any climbing.
Oh, wow.
No climbing at all. And then, winter backpacking. And then before you know it, I'm like, all right, let's go climb mountains.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you fell in love? I mean, do you love that adrenaline rush? What is it?
Both. I mean, I love the challenge of just putting myself through the ringers, doing a physically demanding project and see if I could make it through. Because even though it's physically demanding, it's not, to me, I don't, the physical side, I know I could always do. It's more of the mental side that I crave, like just being able to crave that mental toughness to pull yourself through a 3-day adventure race without sleep, or, being in minus 40-degree weather and have to travel through that and being able to withstand it and survive. To me, that takes more mental acuity than it does physical prowess.
What year did you climb your first summit?
2003. I remember I was at work. My friend Kate said, "Hey, we're going to climb Kilimanjaro. Do you want to go?" True story. When I was a kid, we would talk about Kilimanjaro as some mythical place where we would banish people we didn't like. So I didn't realize Kilimanjaro was a real place. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go. But I said that because I wanted to be a part of the group. And I remember after the conversation, I went back and I started researching Kilimanjaro. I'm like, oh, it's a mountain. I mean, okay. I'm like, all right, I'm going. And did all the research. And then over time, we went there and we climbed Kilimanjaro.
And it was that rush that you got, that mental achievement that you said, okay, let's keep going.
I really enjoyed climbing that mountain because before I went, I looked at it as, okay, we're going to walk up a mountain. What's hard about that? I mean, and so we went, and of course it was like, oh, it's harder than I thought. I mean, this altitude thing, there's something to it. And so I wanted that challenge again. I wanted to replicate that challenge. And I remember I was so excited. I mean, after I summited, came down, I remember getting home and somebody gave me the book, Climbing the 7 Summits by Dick Bass and Rick Ridgway. And they were talking about climbing all these summits. And to me, it was the craziest thing. To me, I was just like, why would people want to do this? It's just totally suicidal. I just can't relate. And I don't know, the more I read it, the more I'm like, it appealed to me. I'm like, yeah, maybe can I do this? Because my mind always goes to, am I saying I can't do it because I'm afraid? And also, physically, could I accomplish this? So I have to prove those things to myself. And then I went to climb Denali, and everybody's like, you chose Denali as your first climb? Yeah, but that's what I did, unknowingly, of course. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was your second climb. You think you put that toward number 6?
Yeah, you would think, right? You're right, yeah.
So we talk about that moment of achievement. Obviously, physically, you've achieved a lot. Mentally, you've achieved much more. What is that moment like when you're standing on top of Mount Everest? You make that last step and look out. Yeah. Sometimes, I guess you don't see much.
So for me, it was twofold. my very first thought was, I'm only halfway here. The hardest part of the journey is left. I still got to get down. But that quickly gives way to, wow, I can't believe that I'm actually on the summit of Mount Everest. I never saw this in my future. If I look back as a kid, I look back in my college years, my young adulthood. So it was pure exhilaration and joy. And I just, it's just, you're just filled with so much emotions. I remember giving both my Sherpas like bear hugs, like, wow, I cannot believe this. Yeah, but I mean, it's just total adrenaline rush and a lot of smiles. Yeah.
And that's how you use all that adrenaline to get down.
Yeah. Again, yeah, because the first thing I get there is halfway. So just make sure you center yourself and know you got to get down. If you don't get down, I mean, it doesn't really count. And then, once you get over that celebration, it's just business back to being very business-like about the process of getting off the mountain. And then it's reminding myself, okay, every step counts. You need to know what you're doing every step. You need to just pay attention to all the little details. Make sure you know what you're doing. Don't trust anything. Don't hold on to anything that you don't trust. Those kinds of things. You go through your checklist, mental checklist of what's climbing safely. Because I don't know if you know this, most people die going down, not going up the mountain. Right.
And how do you think, it takes that mental toughness?
Yeah.
It takes that dedication. How
Right.
do you think that these two things have you been able to put them together to help kind of shape you?
So for me, I love to work out. Like, if my day doesn't start with a workout, I spend the rest of it trying to think about when I'm going to get one. So for me, getting the workout in is part of what centers me very mentally, psychologically, because it's just the way I've been from I was a kid. I also feel like it calms me in my daily life, especially professionally, because sometimes work gets really stressful. And so I kind of need that to kind of maintain a good medium and a good balance. So on the physical side, I don't necessarily think that I have a lot to overcome there. I never make it a focus physically at that time. But on the mental side, it's knowing that I could break through these barriers, because sometimes you find yourself in some really challenging situations where you feel like you have your last ounce of energy to give, but you really have more. And so going through these situations let me know that no matter how bad things are, there's always a little bit more to give, and you could always go. So I always look back at those things. And you may say physically climbing Denali, climbing Everest doesn't relate professionally, but I would disagree with you because, sometimes you're climbing for 30 hours without sleep. And you really just need to push on and push going. Or, you're hungry, you haven't eaten in a while, you're thirsty, or you're just tired. Or you're just in a bad place and you have to push through these barriers. Well, I look at it same way professionally. Sometimes we get in a rut. Even personally, in my personal life, I do the same thing. If something I get in a rut, you just kind of push through, and then you have the discipline on how to deal with different challenges that may come before you, right? So that's how I kind of marry them.
How do you think it's made you become a better leader?
Because I'm always thinking ahead. I think if you're going to lead, means you're in front. You need to be able to anticipate and see what's in front of you. So I think that kind of helps me to always think about what's coming, what's ahead. And I'm always looking 12 months down the road. I also take the responsibility of everybody who works for me seriously. I don't look at it as just that person working for me. I look at it as, okay, that person has a family. They have a wife, they have or a husband, they have kids, they have mortgage, they have car payment, they have all these responsibilities. And so they have to make those obligations. And so that's how I look at it. So I don't look at it as their productivity. I look at it as, okay, I need to be able to make sure that the enterprise is sustainable. And everybody's gainfully employed and they're happy and fitting in, have a good balanced life. Balance is the operative word there.
We usually like to end our episode, asking for leadership advice.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to other leaders, who are maybe looking to expand their companies or, feeling like they're obviously we're in a very volatile time right now, for business. What advice do you have for other leaders?
So I would say a couple of things. One is, you might be a leader, but it takes a team. It takes, just like the concept of it takes a village. It's a team, and everybody on the team has equal importance in what they do. When we climb in a rope team and tied together. So when we move, you move together. So it doesn't matter how strong you are as a leader. What matters is the weakest guy on the rope team. Is you cannot move faster than the weakest guy is capable of moving. Is few things happen. They're going to collapse. They're going to move too fast, and then they're not going to be able to go. They run out of energy. So many things. So you have to be cognizant of that. You got to move at a pace where everybody could move together. It doesn't mean in business, the business moves at that pace. It means you find a way to make that person feels like they're part of the team. And the reason I say that is because you need everybody to be contributing. And so you have to find that balance for your team. And then, the other thing I would say is, because I was guilty of this, is always ask for help. When you're starting a business, I find lots of people want to help you. Just find the people who want to help you, and take the path of least resistance.
You learned that the hard way.
I learned that the hard way. Take the path of least resistance. I mean, don't waste your energy on negative stuff. Stay on the path of positive. And good things will come.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your insights, and
thank you.
Look forward to hearing about what's next.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was great. Happy to come back anytime.
And thank you for listening to this week's BizCast. You can listen, like, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave us a review and let us know if you have ideas for a future podcast. For a full list of episodes, head on over to CBIA.com.